All right, if we can get everybody seated, we can get the party started. So we can get the party started, sorry. Get the meeting started so we can get the party started. So, we all ready? All right. Ms. Cox, are you going to sit down? All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order and announce that with 21 members present, we have a quorum. First of all, I'd like to welcome Lynn Segley. I haven't seen her yet, but I'm hoping she's here. Hi, Lynn. She's our one dignitary. That makes you very dignified. And I want to welcome you and thank you. She is the vice chairman at the City Council of Newport. So she'll be saying a few words a little later. First order of business, I would like to ask for a motion to waive the reading of the minutes from last year's annual meeting. Any seconds? All in favor? All right, the ayes have it. Also, there is a meetings book, and I'm not sure where it is. Terry probably has it, but it's a big binder that has all of the minutes of all the meetings that we've had all through the year. It is made available to anyone who's interested. All you have to do is stop by the office on 424, and you can have at it. But that is available if you're interested. Next, I'd like to request a motion to ratify the actions and the proceedings of the Board of Trustees for the past year. And a second? All in favor? Anyone opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Hey, Jerry. Right on time. Now I'd like to introduce Lynn from the city. She's going to have a few words for us. Thank you, Lynn.
Good evening, and thank you so much. Thank you, Trudy. Thank you, everyone, and congratulations to all of the awardees tonight. I'm Lynn Segley, the Vice Chair of the City Council, and Council Chair Charlie Holder is at the Rogers graduation this evening, so he asked me to give some remarks tonight. I'm going to preach a little bit to the choir, and then I have a bit of an ask from all of you. We all know Newport for its beauty and history. We know the importance of preserving historic buildings. We as people who appreciate and support preservation understand how history and the arts enrich our lives. And let's face it, people want to live here because Newport is special. As a representative of the Newport Restoration Foundation's Doris Duke Award Committee, I recently learned that Newport boasts the largest collection of 18th century Venetian paintings in the world. Architects Richard Morris Hunt and Allard and Sons brought these beautiful paintings over from Venice to embellish the homes here. And I had to say, oh, those poor palazzos in Venice, you know, what happened to them? But hey, you know, go Newport. Every year, tourism-related businesses bring in hundreds of millions of dollars to the Newport area that supports our tax base, provides services, upgrades infrastructure, and so much more. And then at last night's council meeting, again, I heard the tired, typical lament. We only have a tourism economy. Well, boo-hoo, okay? What do they think keeps Newport so resilient when you live through a Navy departure in the 70s, economic downturns, and a global pandemic? I can't tell you how much that statement goes up my craw. Trust me, we have been working to diversify the economy. We try to bring in ocean and environmental-focused companies, and we've had limited success with Innovate Newport. But in the words often attributed to Hollywood producer Sam Goldwyn, if they don't come, you can't stop them. Tourism is our bread and butter, our golden egg, and visitors come with pockets full of cash. Let's not disparage it because we don't understand the impacts. Let's come together to fill the knowledge vacuum. Last night, I asked the city's finance director about the amount of hotels and local businesses. How much do they pay in yearly property taxes? The answer was $22 million. And on top of that, another $4 million in food, beverage, and bed taxes. Now, granted, I think Newport should get more money from the state, but, I digress. The problem is that Newport residents do not know the positive impact of tourism on their own lives. It's time for the typical Newport resident to know the answer to, how does tourism help me? They see traffic, speeding, congestion, parking aggravations, as well as rising housing prices, and all of those are legitimate, and we work very hard to try to mitigate all of the effects, and it's hard work. But residents need to know, how am I, the typical Newporter, helped by the local tourism economy? Discover Newport is embarking on a resident survey focusing on impacts of tourism. And when I heard this, it made me a bit uneasy because the questions will be asked in a vacuum without residents really knowing the facts. So I'm asking the Preservation Society, and not only the Preservation Society, but other tourism-related organizations and businesses to come together to partner to help educate the public on this enormously powerful economic driver. We need a strategy, perhaps a Tourism Helps Me campaign. Can we do some open forums, partner with schools, create simple videos for social media, hang banners at City Hall, the library, bus stops, billboards, anything. When residents are informed, they are empowered. And that is my plea tonight. Thank you very much. I'd also like to thank Bill Lucy, who has been such a wonderful board of directors. And I don't know if anyone from the council has shown up. I know Jean Marie Napolitano was supposed to be coming this evening. So if you see her, say hello. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Lynn. We need advocates like you in politics. I think nowadays it seems as though they keep turning to the nonprofits and the tourism industry to try to fix the problems. And I think we're going to need your help going forward. So thank you for being with us. Ladies and gentlemen, it's both inspiring and heartening to see so many of you here with us today. Our members are the foundation with which this organization has been built, and your continued support is truly the lifeblood of our mission. Thank you all for being here. It has been my great honor to serve the Preservation Society. I want to express my deepest gratitude and sincere respect for all of the trustees, all of whom are up front here with me tonight, both past and present, who have given their time, talent, and treasure in support of this great organization. Together with Trudy Cox, our talented staff, and legions of volunteers, we have elevated our institution to new levels of success and international recognition. We are repeatedly recognized as preservationists of one of the finest collections of house museums in the world. This is not easy work. It is expensive. It demands unwavering commitment, expert knowledge, and a clear strategic vision to help move us forward. At last year's meeting, I spoke about the important work of our Strategic Planning Committee, which was led by Janet Robinson. The plan concentrated on 6 key areas of focus to guide our efforts. I'd like to briefly highlight some of what we have achieved in the last 12 months. We restored the exterior of the Isaac Bell House. Thank you, Jerry Kirby and Kirby and Perkins Company for that. It's beautiful. If you haven't seen it, it's on Bellevue Avenue on the right as you come down. Absolutely wonderful work. We installed a complex geothermal system and did significant exterior work at Chateau Semer. We redid the windows of the elms. They were meticulously refurbished. And the Fontabasso mural was restored as well. We stabilized and repaired the towering chimneys at the breakers, and we continue our work on reopening the 3rd floor. We installed state-of-the-art lighting at Hunter House. Some of our efforts unfold in places that most of us don't ever see. We signed a long-term lease and have begun construction of a world-class collections care facility, a 20-year dream that will elevate our curatorial and collections profile to the top of the museum world. and we will begin the long and arduous task of moving items from our collection to this facility later this summer. Additionally, we continue to invest in greater accessibility and an enriched experience for our visitors through new tours, lectures, and educational programming. We produced 3 remarkable exhibits at Rosecliff: the Celestial City, Newport in China; the Gilded Age, Newport in Color, thank you, Keith; the Wild Imagination, Art and Animals in the Gilded Age. All of these were very incredibly and popular and very well done. And three is a lot for us, so that was really great, and I want to thank the staff for that as well. We partnered with many other Newport County organizations along the way, too. Who can forget the Great Elephant Migration, a project forged by a close collaboration with Salve Regina University, the Newport Restoration Foundation, and the Newport Historical Society. We've collaborated with the Aquidneck Island Land Trust and the Newport Tree Conservancy to bring more awareness about the infectious disease that's attacking all of our majestic beech trees on the island. All in all, we like to think globally and act locally. It's been a winning formula for us. As I reflect on my 15 years as a trustee, I'm reminded that many of other milestones over the years have been accomplished. There was the opening of the Welcome Center, the emergence from the pandemic, the filming of HBO's The Gilded Age, just to name a few. It's been an honor to try to bring a meaningful local perspective to our work over the past 2 decades. It's been my privilege to represent our local community and to witness its growing connection with the Preservation Society. As a nonprofit institution, we are only as strong as the community that surrounds and supports us. That includes our friends, families, neighbors, and many local and state businesses and other institutions whose work is integral to our success. We are stronger than ever today. In closing, I wish to express my heartfelt thanks to Trudy Cox for her steadfast leadership. I'd like to acknowledge our talented and dedicated staff who are the root of all of our success. And I'd like to thank my fellow trustees. Your support and wisdom has been invaluable to me. And finally, and most importantly, I'd like to thank all of you, our members. Your support is what makes all of this possible. You are essential partners in our mission to protect, preserve, and present some of the most distinguished examples of architecture, artifacts, and horticultural designs in the world. Thank you all for bringing it. Thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce David Bazarski, who's going to do the Treasurer's Report. David?
Good evening. As treasurer, I'm delighted to share some exciting news about the Preservation Society's financial journey over this past year. While financial reports can sometimes be a bit dry, maybe even a little boring, I promise you that this year's numbers are so positive, it makes it a joy to give this report tonight. I'd like to start with the big picture. This past fiscal year, which ended on March 31, was incredible, which is not exactly an accounting term, but regardless, it was amazing. Our operating revenue rose to $36.4 million, surpassing the previous year by $6 million, and that's a fantastic leap. Our operating expenses stayed controlled at $34.3 million, only $2 million higher than last year. The result? A net positive of $4 million for the year. And that's more than we had initially budgeted, and certainly a sign of solid financial health. What's more, we fully funded, we paid for over $7 million of major projects, an impressive achievement that underscores our commitment to preservation and community engagement. Plus, thanks to strong earnings from our endowment investments, our total assets grew by $7.2 million, from $90.9 million to $98.1 million. Again, a testament to our growing strength. And let's talk about our visitors. Attendance hit the highest level since pre-pandemic, with a total of 867,000 visits. That's an increase of 57,000 visitors from last year. This surge reflects our efforts to create a richer, more engaging experience are paying off. This increased activity has driven up revenue across many categories: admissions, memberships, store and restaurant sales, event rentals, lectures, and special activities. And it's not just about the numbers, as it goes without saying that the Preservation Society invigorates Newport's local economy and adds vibrancy to our city. And speaking of support, our donors have truly stepped up. This year's campaign gifts and annual fund contributions totaled $9.9 million, up $2 million from last year, showing incredible generosity and confidence in our mission. Well deserved. On the expense side, we've been thoughtful. Expenses came in about $200,000 under budget, demonstrating discipline amid growth. And this is interesting. Our total operating expenses per visitor increased modestly from $28.30 to $31.50, reflecting our reinvestment into new exhibitions, programs, and staffing to ensure an outstanding visitor experience. So to put that in perspective and to put in the expense per visitor number into context, compare our number of $31.50 cost per visitor to overall industry averages that hover around $50 to $54 per visitor. So we're running very efficiently relative to our peers. In summary, this has been a remarkably good year. Our financial strength, growing attendance, increased support, and strategic investments position us for an even brighter future. So thank you all for your support, enthusiasm, and commitment to the Preservation Society. Here's to many more successful years.
Thank you, David. Very impressive report. Next up, I'd like to introduce Trudy Cox, our CEO. Trudy?
Thank you, Bill. Thank you very much, everyone. So for the last 6 years, I have had the privilege, excuse me for this. Wow. This is incredible. Terry, thank you so much. We had, I want to make sure that everybody knows that Jean Marie Napolitano from the City Council is here too. So we commissioned a study from Oxford Economics, which is, does economic studies of organizations and businesses, and the results just came in. And they are unbelievable because it says that the Preservation Society, listen to this. This is your legacy, Bill. The Preservation Society generated $178 million into Newport's economy last year, which is unbelievable. And because of the Preservation Society's presence in Newport, there are about 1,370 jobs created. We generated $234 million into the state's coffers, which is also very important. So That's $250,000 that we are making happen, and that's all you, Bill, under your term. So I've had the great pleasure of working with Bill Lucy for the last 6 years, and it has really been an honor and a lot of fun. I am going to miss your quiet and steady and understated leadership. His loyalty to and belief in the Preservation Society is phenomenal. Bill always pulls through. And one thing that many of you would not know about Bill is that he has made an extra effort to connect with employees because he wants to make them feel that they are noticed. And that is so appreciated. So thank you very much. I now want to take a moment to thank Peter Erickson, whose term also comes to an end. Peter is right there. Peter is one of the smartest lawyers I've ever met in my life, and his legal skills have come in handy on a number of occasions. And even more importantly, Peter's willingness to chair the one committee that no one wants to chair, the Audit Committee, has been fantastic. He is the best audit chairperson we have ever had. Thank you. And thankfully, Bill and Peter will continue to serve on committees, so we're going to benefit from the expertise that they have for many years to come. So what is next for the Preservation Society? So forgive me if I sound like a carnival barker at the entrance of a fairground, but honestly, that's exactly how I feel when I look at our summer lineup. It is nothing short of a spectacle. It is brimming with the vibrant energy of a Barnum and Bailey three-ring circus extravaganza, and I mean this. The dazzling, elegant flower show takes off next week. Hollywood royalty will grace us with their presence. Yes, Sam Waterston and Christine Baranski in our houses here in Newport. We're rolling out 11 vintage coaches, transporting the entire island into a true Gilded Age fantasy. Lark Mason, a member of our board, will be giving a lecture. He is a regular on Antiques Roadshow and he's going to be giving us the inside story of what it's like to be on that show. And if that is not enough, we've got the Richard Morris Hunt exhibition, excellent exhibition at Rosecliff, the grand opening of a chic new cafe at the Elms Carriage House in about 12 days, a golf tournament to test your swing and show off your drive, and a wine and food festival that is packed with the hottest stars in the culinary world. And finally, let us not forget that the third season of The Gilded Age will air in 11 days on June 22nd. So, as a CEO, it's one of my jobs to keep tabs on museum websites, and I do that across the country. And I do it to steal ideas. I really do. I can confidently say that there is no one out there that is doing the kind of work that we're doing, the pace we're setting. It is borderline frenetic, the variety we offer unmatched, the energy we bring through the roof. So here's the thing. We are not just hosting events. We are creating memories. We are weaving history into every experience that we offer, and we want you to be part of it. So this summer, let loose, embrace the chaos. Yes, embrace the chaos, and most importantly, have a lot of fun, because together I think we can make it an unforgettable season. But wait, we have work to do, and it's not easy. Buildings to preserve. You'll note that the scaffolding is up to repair all the windows at the breakers. This terrace will soon be torn apart for a new terrace. Objects to conserve. By the way, that's about a $4 million project. Objects to conserve, gardens to maintain, and during the cocktail hour, I hope you will take a tour through the new North Parterre Garden that was finished about 3 hours ago. And I want to thank Lilia Palmieri, who is sitting in the second row, for her tremendous contribution to make this landscape important. Bravo. Beech trees to save, research to conduct, hospitality to deliver. I think we're going to give about 900,000 tours this year, 35,000 members to tend to, 6 stores and 3 cafes to run so that they are happy places for all. Hard work, and it takes all of us to make it happen. There's more. We have $7 million to raise before the end of March. I'm looking at Sarah. This is our capital campaign, which has not yet been made public, and some of you have already helped us with it, and we hope you all will. Thank you to those who have already helped. We're standing at about 16 million, and we are aiming to reach a $22 million goal by the end of March. Hard work, and it is not easy. And we have thousands of objects to move into our new collections care facility over at Quonset to ensure that our paintings and sculptures and textiles and scrapbooks and sketches and papers are conserved for centuries to come. Again, hard work and not easy, but it is the hard work that our staff, your staff, does day in and day out. The senior staff working group is all here. Other members of our staff are scattered throughout the tent. I have to tell you, it is a real honor to work with this collection of really great professionals. I'd love to ask them all to stand, and please give them a round of applause because they deserve it. There are more of you. And finally, our attention this year is focused on a key element of the strategic plan that Bill referred to that was created 3 years ago by our board and staff under the leadership of Janet Robinson, who's sitting over there. And the goal is to modernize the visitor experience at historic houses, which is a critical but crucial endeavor. At this year's American Alliance of Museums convention, it was striking to learn that of the 35,000 museums in America, that's how many museums there are in this nation, 35,000, 13,000 are historic house museums like ours, like the Mark Twain House, like Whitehall here in Middletown, or Whitehorn, like Vizcaya, like San Simeon. This is an important fact. Shockingly, 65% of the 13,000 historic house museums in this country are run by volunteers. And 80% operate on budgets of less than $50,000 a year. You cannot get a lot done with $50,000. You really can't. Don't you agree, Jerry Kirby? And this is a stark reminder of the challenges that we as a historic preservation group face to preserve this country's vital cultural gems. I watch the museum industry, it's my job to do, and I really do fear for the future of volunteer-run historic houses and museums. When the current volunteers disappear from the houses that they so lovingly tend to, and many of them are senior citizens, the value of those houses will become less important. So the obvious questions are, what will happen to the local museum down the street? The historic house that tells the story of our town's founder? The local historical society that holds the papers of your neighborhood? What will happen to those materials? What will happen to the collections of those houses? Will they end up on eBay? What about the buildings? Will they be torn down, or will they be completely rebuilt so that they are unrecognizable? Every important historic feature gone. In contrast to our colleagues, we are, as you have heard tonight, doing exceedingly well. But I don't think we can take our success for granted, because our success is very fragile. And I hope this will explain how. Our business model for most historic houses in America is unique. We are benefited by the fact that our 5 big houses do well: the Breakers, the Elms, Rosecliff, Chateau-sur-Mer, and Marble House. Those 5 houses do well. That allows us to support, subsidize, prop up, if you will, the 6 smaller houses, like Hunter House or Green Animals. In fact, the small houses could never make it on their own. They depend upon the success of the large 5 houses. So what makes us so unique, our total collection, is that together, these houses showcase Newport's remarkable diversity in architecture and collecting. That's why vigilance in preserving and sustaining them is all essential. In the last year alone, I've visited more than 40 museums and historic sites in Sweden, Berlin, Hudson Valley, Los Angeles, New York City, Montreal, Florida, and throughout New England. And I love museums. I have to admit, though, that I do struggle to remember details of my experience. Images, I remember. If I take lots of pictures, I remember even better. The details of history, not so much. Julian Fellows has often said that the telling of stories is central to people's enjoyment of history and learning. The better the story, the more we remember. And that is what we have spent the last year and will be spending over the next few years dealing with right now. How do we make the experience memorable? The two words that drive us are very relevant to Newport. They are hallmarks of the Gilded Age. If you remember nothing else about the Gilded Age, two words must be remembered: innovation and transformation. That's what the Gilded Age is all about. We are transforming the museum experience to make history unforgettable, to make it memorable, to engage people's senses, to feel the past, not just observe it. These are very hard changes to consider, envision, or implement, but they are vital, we believe, to keeping house museums alive and relevant into the future. Imagine walking into the Elms, music filling the ballroom from a Berwyn party from 1902, or walking into the conservatory and smelling the fresh aroma of blossoms that are grown in Newport, or seeing right in front of you the glimmer of a seamstress's creation transformed into a dazzling ball gown. We can do that with cutting-edge technology. We can ensure that our visitors don't just see history, they live it. That the Elms is no longer merely a house to explore, it is a gateway to an unforgettable, immersive journey where the past comes alive, where we are active participants, not mere observers. This is the future we are building. We're doing it with a firm called Digital Kitchen, creating activations in a variety of rooms throughout the house, the Elms, that ensure that our visitors leave the Elms remembering something. Maybe about Trumbauer, maybe about Berwyn, maybe about the Gilded Age. This effort is new to the historic house field. Nobody is doing it. It will be expensive, very expensive. It is taxing us beyond anything we have ever tried, but we're having fun. But it is taxing us, and it will be groundbreaking. And hopefully, if we're successful, it will set an example for others. Because I think you would agree that we want to not just survive, we want to thrive. I'm sure all of you want that for historic museums around the country. And whether we like it or not, the introduction of this thing in 2007, January, on a stage, Steve Jobs, dressed all in black, it forced us to evolve. It changed our life, whether we like it or not. In Newport, we are surrounded by an era that is marked by evolution and change. That's what the Gilded Age is all about: innovation and transformation, where horse-drawn carriages gave way to automobiles, where hand sewing gave way to sewing machines, where letters to telephones and gas lamps to electric lights. We can learn a lot about change right here in Newport by studying the Gilded Age. And today we are living in a world of change comparable to that of the Gilded Age. So as we look to the horizon, it's clear that the Preservation Society is an organization on the move. Dynamic, forward-thinking, and unafraid to reimagine what is possible. We are eager to embrace new ideas, experiment with cutting-edge technology, and challenge ourselves in ways we never thought imaginable. But let's not forget, the work we do is far from easy. It requires resilience, ingenuity, courage, and most of all, unwavering support of friends and members like you. Together, the larger we possess this resilience and courage and curiosity about what change can bring. I know I am very curious about the future. So Thank you for being a part of this extraordinary journey. Your support makes our future possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Trudy. Next, I'd like to ask Evelina Tabor to come up, and Evelina is the chair of our governance committee, and she's going to present the governance committee report.
Thank you, Bill. Trudy touched on this, but I'd like to begin by recognizing those trustees who are stepping down from the board due to term limits per the Preservation Society's bylaws. In case you missed it, those trustees are Bill Lucy and Peter Erickson. Bill is standing, but Peter, will you please stand? I'd like to thank Bill and Peter on behalf of the Preservation Society for Bill's incredible 15 years of service and Peter's 6 years of service on the Board of Trustees. We know you both have put in countless hours in order to further the mission of the Preservation Society and make it what it is today, and we thank you for that. Working closely with the Governance Committee, the Board of Trustees would like to present the slate of trustee nominees who will stand for election by the membership to the Board of Trustees. Will the following nominees please stand and be recognized? Deborah Del Vecchio, Kate Enroth, Val Talmadge, and Evan Smith, who actually could not be here tonight. You may now be seated. Thank you. 5 current trustees are completing their initial 3-year term of service and are eligible to stand for election for a second 3-year term in accordance with the organization's bylaws. I will ask those trustees to please stand as I call your names. David Bazarski, Hank Bell, Patrick Cairns, Patrick Wood Prince, and myself, Evelina Tabor. So you may now be seated. Sue Petrovas and Cindy Reed, both who are unable to be here tonight, have each completed 2 3-year terms of service on the Board of Trustees and are being elected to another year term to serve on the Executive Committee of the Board of Trustees per the organization's bylaws. So, Mr. Chairman, I have presented the slate of new and current trustees now standing for election and re-election to the membership.
Thank you, Evelina. I'd ask for a motion for the nominations now to be closed. A second? All in favor? Any opposed? Ayes have it. Boy, this is a lot of writing. Let's see, all in favor of the, oh, I did all that stuff, okay. I'd like to, okay, so this is easy. I'd like to welcome all of the new and returning trustees. Welcome aboard. Hang on, it's a ride. As Trudy sort of alluded to, the staff and Trudy, they keep a torrid pace. And the results are always amazingly excellent. So I don't know how they do it, but maybe it's with our support. So we'll go with that. It's our support that helps it. So we look forward to bringing you new people on board, and we need your help. Many hands make light lifting. So next we're going to be entering into the, so does that close the annual meeting? Do I? No. You have to do one more thing?
I'm back on.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I don't know. Let's see. Everyone has to understand. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, this is very important. We need leadership. Evelina, could you please present the slate of officers, please, for the coming year? Is that?
I think, yeah. We need a motion that the nominations now be closed.
I did that.
Yeah, okay. And close
I guess my notes aren't as good as they should be.
so
All
now
right.
I just need to do the officers.
Okay.
Okay. The slate of board officer nominees has been prepared by the Executive Committee with support from the Governance Committee and has been ratified by the Board of Trustees. The board officers will be elected by the Board of Trustees at the organizational meeting immediately following the annual meeting. I will ask that the officer nominees please stand and be recognized as I call your names. Chairman Peter Harris. Vice Chair Patrick Cairns. Vice Chair Dale Venturini. Treasurer David Bazarski. And Secretary Evelina Tabor, myself. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report. Okay.
Sorry, I jumped ahead. Thank you, Evelina. That does conclude the portion of the annual meeting, the formal portion. Now we will begin the awards ceremony, which we do every year at the annual meeting. And for that, I would like to introduce Keith Stokes, who will present the Laurel Award for Volunteerism.
Thank you, Bill. Miss Victoria Johnson, would you join us here in the dais? Please excuse me if I'm a little bit nervous, because before the program began, Mrs. Johnson reminded me that she had to put me in check as an arrogant high school at Rogers High School. So I'm a little bit nervous here, Mrs. Johnson. It gives me great pleasure to recognize someone who I believe everyone should recognize their contributions in Newport. Few Newporters have done as much for this community and its children than Mrs. Victoria Johnson. She's had a 40-year career in education, and she's done it all, from coach to teacher to principal. Mrs. J began her teaching career at Rogers High School, which was her alma mater, in her native Newport. Knowing how Mrs. J came to teach at Rogers exemplifies the type of person she is. In Mrs. J's senior year at Arnold College at the University of Bridgeport, she was invited to dance in New York with the Martha Graham Dance Company, one of the most prestigious dance companies in America. That was a rare and very special invitation. But Mrs. J turned it down because she wanted to help her family back in Newport care for her ailing grandmother. So Mrs. J moved back to Newport to care for her grandmother. She started teaching physical education and coaching basketball at Rogers. That was back in 1962. And Mrs. J, still friendly with many of the kids she taught in those days, she's become a lifelong mentor to students, particularly arrogant ones like myself. Mrs. J earned her master's in administration and education from Florida Atlantic University and worked as an assistant principal and principal in Florida for several years. She eventually returned to Aquidneck Island and in 1996 was appointed principal of Rogers High School, making her the first female African-American principal of secondary schools in the entire state of Rhode Island. And I think the best. Mrs. J is truly one of Rhode Island's African heritage trailblazers in the field of education. Mrs. J understands the importance of preservation and interpreting our historical and cultural heritage. Important to that effort, she co-founded the Newport Middle Passage Port Marker Project to honor African heritage individuals who were enslaved and trafficked into Newport, and to raise awareness that Newport and other areas of Rhode Island were dominantly involved in the transatlantic slave trade. It is her work in building eventually a marker and a statue and a recognition within the city of Newport is an incredible collaboration with the city of Newport, the people of Newport, and will allow us to have a permanent memorial for all visitors and for all residents to value the contributions of African heritage men, women, and children. Mrs. J continues to dedicate her time and talent to multiple community organizations, from volunteerism here in the Preservation Society and Newport Historical Society. The Preservation Society of Newport County is proud to honor Mrs. J for all she's done to make Newport a vibrant and diverse community where the importance of historic preservation in past is recognized and appreciated for future generations. Thank you, Mrs. J.
Let's give another round of applause. And I'll ask Jerry Kirby to please come up. My name is Ted Sanderson. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees, and I'm honored to hang out with Jerry for a few minutes here. When it comes to restoration of historic buildings in Newport and New England in general, Jerry Kirby and Kirby Perkins Construction are names that all of us are familiar with. Jerry Kirby is a fifth-generation Newporter, and he's been saving Newport's architectural fabric since his youth. He's part of an 80-years-long Kirby family history of preserving Newport's historic buildings, starting with his father, who was a member of the Board of Trustees of the Preservation Society of Newport County for 33 years. Jerry's sister, Kate, was a Preservation Society trustee and now serves on the Rosecliff House Advisory Committee. And I had the opportunity to meet with the Kirby women before this ceremony, and they told me to say that they're very proud of you. They congratulate you on today's Laurel Award, but they point out that your dad not only was a Laurel Award winner himself, but that he also won the Society's Antiquarian Award. So the women in your family think you're on a good track, but keep going. Jerry started in the field as a laborer, scraping windows and learning the construction methods of past centuries. In 1980, he started his own company, Kirby Construction, with just one man and a pickup truck. In 1990, Kirby Construction restored Chepstow Carriage House, followed by many other prominent projects. Jerry's brother-in-law, Tom Perkins, joined the firm in 1987, and 10 years later, Kirby Perkins Construction was born. Which brings us to the award for artisanship. Isaac Bell House, completed in 1883, is one of the most significant structures in Newport. The building's construction was radical in both its visual cues and symbolic assembly. Here, architects McKim, Mead, and White designed a new type of building that combines visual elements of the English arts and crafts movement, colonial American building details, Breton French cabinetry, and a Japanese-inspired open floor plan. The Isaac Bell House is characterized by its many wooden architectural elements, and I think you're seeing some in the pictures as we go through this. On the exterior, shingled porches and walls of patterned wood shingles, bamboo-style porch columns, and brackets stylized as dolphins enliven a picturesque wood structure. Natural dark wood finishes define the interior spaces, from the carved inglenook fireplace and oak stair to wood ceiling panels, sliding doors, and carved architectural ornamentation. Working to preserve and restore Isaac Bell's historic features, Kirby Perkins sourced precisely specified materials. They displayed extraordinary craftsmanship and managed the complexity of construction details that tie it all together. They brought a complete toolbox to this job. They saw the challenge. They hammered out the details. It's plain to see that the workers dovetailed skill with knowledge. And tonight I would ask you to honor Jerry Kirby and the 2025 Laurel Award for artisanship, for really nailing the job. Congratulations. And now we go over here.
As our honoree arrived. Well, this is the Laurel Award for Horticulture, which is being presented to William Orlando for Orlando Greenhouse. By 2024, after 130 years of hard use, the greenhouses that support the breakers and the other houses needed restoration. Who better to ask to do this than William Orlando and his firm, Orlando Greenhouse? They were brought in for the restoration. Suffice it to say that after 50 years in business, this was not Bill's first rodeo. Notable locations paying witness to the greenhouse work that had been done include Harvard's Arnold Arboretum, the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, and the greenhouses at Roger Williams Zoo and Park. Those out of a long, long and varied list. Now you might ask, what is so important about the Preservation Society greenhouses? They're located behind the Breaker Stable and Carriage House on Cogshell Avenue. To answer, we have to go back more than 100 years. Those 100 years plus, those greenhouses were once located on the Breakers estate. When Cornelius Vanderbilt bought the original Peabody and Stearns designed breakers from Pierre Lorillard in 1885, the Vanderbilts immediately initiated upgrades to the house and the grounds, including expanding the greenhouse complex at the corner of Oker Point and Shepherd Avenues. When the original breakers burned to the ground in November 1892, Cornelius Vanderbilt immediately set about redesigning the estate, which included a new carriage house and stables at the intersection of Bateman and Cogshell Avenues, a few blocks away from the breakers. The Lard and Burnham greenhouses on the original breakers site were dismantled and reassembled on a site adjacent to the new breakers stables in 1896. Also in 1896, these newly built greenhouses were the most advanced greenhouses of their time and were considered the best of the best. The greenhouse complex boasted an expansive potting shed, a work area, a palm house, fernery, and pits for growing water lily blossoms. It was in use and has been in use since 1896. The Breakers greenhouses are thought to be amongst the oldest and most continuously operating greenhouses in the U.S. Now, what did that work entail? When Orlando Greenhouse began work restoring the greenhouses, all of the steel and wood components had been stripped of their original surfaces. They had been repaired and repainted. All the windows have been replaced with tempered glass. The new leaded glass is cushioned by cypress strips and secured in a graceful steel structure that protects the tender plants from the harsh winter elements. The temperature-controlled vents allow air to circulate freely, and Orlando Greenhouse's mantra of high-quality craftsmanship shines through the making of the greenhouses. They are worthy of their distinctive pedigree. Bill's son, Kenny, Tommy, and his honorary son, Manny, have joined the family business, and his wife, Melissa, and daughter, Virginia, work in the garden-related pursuits. The family's passion for horticulture and preserving the infrastructure that supports it bode well for the future of horticulture and greenhouse restoration. For exceeding the high standards of preservation for the restoration of the iconic Breakers greenhouses, the Preservation Society of Newport County is honored to present you, William Orlando and Orlando Greenhouse, with the 2025 Laurel Award for Horticulture. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted and Beverly and Keith, for presenting those awards. One last announcement, and we'll be concluding the meeting. There'll be a meeting of the Board of Directors on the back portico of the Breakers immediately following this meeting. It's important to all go to that meeting because there's also a picture taken of the board at that time. So Terry will come and find you, but it'd be easier if you just head up there. Is there any new business to come before?
Chairman, we've got one item of new business I'd like to introduce.
Mr. Cairns. This is a nightmare, by the way.
I'd ask you to stay on the dais, please. My name is Patrick Cairns. I'm a vice chair of the board, and I think we have one item of new business introduced, which I'd like to begin with a short video.
My name is Bill Lucy, and I've been a member of the Board of Trustees of the Preservation Society of Newport County for 15 years, most recently serving as chairman. During all of those years, it has been my privilege to witness and contribute to the evolution of this great organization, not just in terms of visitation, programming, and economic impact, but also with the expansion and unrelenting focus on protection and preservation of our historic properties. The magnitude of this continued effort can't be overstated. Any historic property by itself requires extraordinary investment. The PS has 11. The condition of any of them would be the envy of house museums around the world. It's been my honor to serve the Preservation Society and follow in the footsteps of chairmen and trustees who came before me. These historic properties embody the timeless stories and lessons of history. While the properties themselves grow old, walking their halls never will.
I've got a few comments. That was elegant and quiet, just like Bill. Bill Lucy believes in preserving the Newport mansions to the highest standards. He would say, "These great historic houses represent Newport to the world, and if they do not create a world-class impression, then we're just not doing our jobs." In his 15 years of service to the Preservation Society of Newport County, Bill has done much to ensure that the mansions remain awe-inspiring well into the future. As has been mentioned earlier this evening, Bill joined the Board of Trustees in 2010 and was elected treasurer in 2015. He was at the fiscal helm of the society when the COVID pandemic struck in the spring of 2020, which caused drastic reductions in our revenue, our budget, and our staff. Along with the other members of the board, Bill remained steadfast and optimistic, and he resolved to keep the collections intact and try new strategies to bring visitors to the mansions. In June of 2021, with the pandemic continuing, he was elected chairman and led the Preservation Society through its recovery from the worst crisis in its 80-year history. Under Bill's leadership, the board adopted a 5-year strategic plan to strengthen the organization in many areas: preservation, interpretation, visitor experience, and audience growth, with the goals of elevating our curatorial profile, embracing innovation and smart management, and maintaining our fiscal strength. And he has ensured that this is a real action plan, not just a report on a shelf. Initiatives taken under this plan have been discussed earlier in tonight's program, including the development of the state-of-the-art collections facility, the beginning of the technology-enhanced visitor experience at the Elms, the multi-million-dollar restorations of Rose Cliff and Isaac Bell House, the restoration of windows and doors at the Elms, the stone and concrete work at Elms and Marble House, the continuation of the Breakers landscape renewal, installation of geothermal at Chateau-sur-Mer, the 4th such installation at our houses, by the way, new custom lighting systems inside Hunter House, development of a cafe at the Elms Carriage House, launching the Breakers' 3rd floor preservation, on and on and on. In addition to these visible external accomplishments during Bill's term, there's been a lot of developmental work behind the scenes and inside the organization, including the development and initiation of new curatorial positions, archivist, textile conservator, collections technicians, and researchers, and the hosting of several exhibitions, some of which were mentioned earlier this evening, the traveling exhibitions such as Sean Kenny's Nature Connects at Green Animals, and the unforgettable Great Elephant Migration, which took place right about where we're sitting tonight. Bill's long local business career and years of service to nonprofit institutions on Aquidneck Island have given him a strong sense of community. He is motivated not just by the historic significance of the Newport Mansions, but also by their importance to local residents, businesses, and organizations. They are a resource, an economic driver, a source of pride, a place where people come together to learn and to enjoy themselves. His stewardship of the Preservation Society has strengthened this organization and this community, and his leadership has always been strong, steadfast, and carried out with a touch of humor and humility, which I will testify personally to. The Board of Trustees of the Preservation Society of Newport County is thereby honored, proud, and pleased to award William F. Lucy III the Antiquarian Award. Our most prestigious honor. This is the one you don't have yet, Jerry. Given this day at the Breakers in Newport, Rhode Island, 12th of June, 2025.
Well, that wasn't so bad. I was a little nervous for a while. Thank you so much. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Trudy, for that. Quite a surprise. I'm not sure how deserving I am, but I'm very honored. Thank you very much. We're going to move on because I know what we really want now is cocktails and food. So is there any more new business to come before the annual meeting? No. Seeing none, I would like a motion to conclude our annual meeting. A second? All in favor? Anyone opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much, everyone.